Hey, what's up folks? Today I'm going to show you a very simple video. I'm going to do it bullet points so it's easy to follow and you can easily jump from section to section. So what I'm going to run through is obviously how to get what you're seeing on my screen here is a Minecraft server. So for example on the left here, this is the actual server running, all the files to it that's running away in the background. If you close that, it closes the server. Then, as you can see here, basically I'm in a Minecraft world, which is one of my old servers. Don't really use this one anymore now. So yeah, I'm going to jump right into it and keep watching the video and see how things turn out. Right, now we're on to making the server. So, first thing you want to do is actually go to your internet browser. Now, what we're going to use for actually creating the server, instead of Minecraft's own server program, we're going to use something called Bukkit. Now, if you go into Google and type in Bukkit, then it will be actually the very first thing that will come up on Google. Straight in here, you'll either notice that they can sometimes post them on the actual blog post. Sometimes they have recommended builds up in the corner here, so just check up to date with them and get the latest version, or you can go up the top, it says get craft bucket. Once you have that, let's say for instance click on this, it'll say download craft bucket 0.01 snapshot.jar. It gives you a load of rubbish on the end of it. That's what you want to download, okay? So for example, I've got one here pre-downloaded, so it says craftbucket.0.01 snap.jar. Now what you want to do is remove all this stuff off the end so it looks like this. So it just says craftbucket.jar. It just makes it a lot easier way of finding it in one way or another. The next thing you want to do, down in the description there will be a Dropbox link. Now I have put a few files together which kind of makes it easy and gives you an option. So download that, and what it'll do is it'll give you a file, a zip file called server start files.zip. Open that up, you'll get a folder, server start files, and open that up, you'll have another 4 folder options. So it depends on your amount of RAM. So you either have server start 1 GB, 2 gigs, 3 gigs, or 4 gigs. So for example, if I'm running a 4 GB iMac computer, I will give the server roughly 2 GB. I don't want to give it a full 4 gig, just in case if if it may cause problems with other things in the background, because you need to give your operating system something to use still. So in this case I'm going to use 2 gigs. So I'll open this folder up. I'll be sorry about my throat. It will have 2 items here. So one says readme, one says start.command, 2 GB RAM.text. Okay, first thing you want to do is open up the readme. It'll open up text edit, and it says basically you have to copy this code into terminal. Now you've got to make sure it's exactly right, because there is a space after the X on this and you want to make sure you get that involved. So I'll go command C, let's copy that. Sorry, my throat here. Now you want to have your terminal open as well. Now when you open your terminal, paste that code into there. Want to go back to the folder that would have downloaded. Now you want to change this ever so slightly. So just click it once, wait a second, click again. Now you want to delete the .text and you want to delete the 2 GB RAM and hit enter. Tell it to use .command. There we go. So now it's actually a file that's ready to be authorized by your computer. So have that folder, grab it and drop it into terminal. You'll see here that it explains the root directory of it, and then just hit enter, and then that's it done. Now either you can then move this file to say a separate folder. You could have a folder named Minecraft, put that in there and have it ready to set up the server, or in this case I'm just going to do it all within here just to make it easy. Now this is where you need your craftbucket.jar. Okay, so grab your craftbucket jar wherever you're going to put your start.command. Don't click craftbucket, because it will open up the server ports, and it causes a lot of problems. At the end of the video I will show you a way to close it if something like that does happen, if you do accidentally click it. But in this case, double click start.command. So what it'll do is it opens up the files. So it's saying it's just loading like all the chunks here, spawning the world. It goes through the percent, so just let it do that, And what you may notice in the background as well, instead of just having the 3 items, it's added a lot more items in there. This is for things like your plugins, your ops, your band players, your world files, anything like that, server properties, it's all within there, okay? So that's actually the server up and running now, so that's ready to go. Okay, so now we've got your server up and running. What we need to do now is actually make it so it can send out the information to the world so people can join. There's 2 ways of doing it. Now, if you're running a Mac, there's one bit of software that does make it quite easy. You have to toggle around with things. It's called Port Map. Very simple bit of software. Actually, this is the window here. At the moment, it does say I have an incompatible router, which from one of my last videos, a lot of people were saying that, but there is a way of resolving around it. I did make a separate video, and I asked people to watch it. Right, first thing is, once you have Port Map, which you download it from the website, just go into Google, type in Port Map, you'll see this. You can't really miss it, if anything. You'll then be downloaded with this bit of software. So, what you have to then do is, once you start it up, you turn the router on, you press the add button, just leave the presets as they are, add the local port, which in this case for Minecraft is 25565, desired port 22565, select both of those, put the description as Minecraft or whatever you want it to, and then just go add mapping. So there we go, adds a new item straight away. Now, it's showing a red light because the fact is I've got an incompatible router. There is problem solving at the end of this video, so please watch it and it may help out there. The other way that you can do it is through your router. Your router has a lot of settings that you can play around with, and a lot of people don't realize it. You do have to have permissions to the router, if you want to say, so you can actually change things. For instance, I'm running a Belkin router here. Now, in my options, I get the fact that I can actually have a virtual servers. So it's just under my firewall settings, it says virtual servers. I can then add in here, I want to enable the port, name it Minecraft. I put the inbound port as 25564. 25567, so it's between the port that I need. So TCP and UDP, and don't worry about the private address, just put it as 4 or whatever you want it to. Where I said that the IP address does not make a difference, it does actually make a big difference. Now, the way you find your IP address of your router is if you go to your system preferences on your Mac, go to network, and whichever system you've got, if you're running on Wi-Fi or Ethernet, click on which one it is. Then it will say you're connected to such and such a network. So this is saying Wi-Fi is connected to Belkin, such and such a number. It doesn't make a difference. But it says your IP address is 192.168.2.2. Now, it can change depending on your router, but that's the number you need to add in. So for instance, in my case, I need to add a 2. Whereas on the video I've actually put a 4, so it does make a big difference. If it's not right, it won't do the port forwarding. And then the private port 25565-25567, then you want to apply the changes. It will restart your router. Obviously, this is for a Belkin one. Netgears do have the same option. Actually, a lot of companies have the same option. You just have to access your router. For example, if I want to go into my Belkin router, I go to a website 192.168.2.1. That's a universal address for Belkin routers. I can then go in and access it. I know, for instance, Sky routers, it's normally Sky router and then a password or something like that. Look in your manuals, it'll tell you. Again, there may be problem solving at the end of this video. Once that's done, it's a piece of cake. If you are running an Apple airport, Apple actually provide their own bit of software to do port forwarding. You have to go within your settings, and there should be another option within your network page that you can play around with things in there. So now your server should be fully working as long as all the steps have gone correctly. So I'm going to now demonstrate it. For instance, my server was saved in here, so I'll just put that to one side. And what do I'll go multiplayer. Now, as you can see, my servers should say that none of them will be connecting because none of them are actually online at the moment. Okay, so we want to go to start your server, go start.command. Just double click that. Again, your terminal will open. Now you will have to keep this window open. If you do close it, it will keep on running in the background, but you won't be able to edit things. Say if you want to put in certain terminal commands, or if you try and stop the server, you have to do it a completely different way. So keep that running. The main thing now that's running, you can easily go refresh. Now, as long as your port mapping is set up correctly, you can connect to it in different ways. For instance, you can use the port map to try and get onto your server, or as long as your router has been set up correctly, you can then easily go into edit the server, name it whatever you want. If it's from your computer and you're hosting it, you can easily go :25565 and go done, and it works no problem. You can connect with no problems at all. The other option is you can copy the IP from port map, or go to things like websites where they will tell you your IP, and then you can type them in there and then they'll work. So I'm just going to jump in here. Now if I look at the server, it's pretty much saying new max, because basically it's the first time I've spawned into it, and it's saying here that I'm spawned into the world. So that's the server actually up and running now and ready to go. If you wish to close the server, it's very simple. Now this will cut off all internet access. All you have to do is just pretty much type in stop into the server, hit enter, it'll save the chunks, and it's stopping the server. It's pretty much complete, so you can now then close your terminal, and there will be no internet access to the server. Okay, problem solving. So this is where I'm going to try and help you out as much as I possibly can. One of the questions I used to get quite a lot was they had, when they tried to log into someone's server, or they had other people trying to log in, it used to say outdated server. That basically means that either your Minecraft client is at the newest stage, but the Minecraft server software isn't at that stage yet, it's a step lower. So the only way people can actually join in is either if they've got the same software as what the server is actually running. So that's why you'll be getting a message saying outdated server. A lot of people have set up their server and they get in their terminal window saying they have a JavaScript error, or a Java denied access to the system. Basically what's happened there is something's gone wrong further down the line. The software is fine, the JavaScript is fine, but either something's just gone wrong. So the best bit of advice is basically scrap everything and start again. Another question here, my friends can't join my server. This could be a two-way situation. First thing is your port mapping might not be set up correctly, that is not actually sending out the signal for other people to join in. The best way to overcome that is, again, try and check through your port mapping software and see if everything's set up correctly. Make sure it's sending out the software and see how that turns out. Another option could be things like your firewall on your router or on your computer could be actually stopping them joining into it. Things like antiviruses could be doing that. You could be, well actually it could be their firewall in fact that's actually stopping them leaving their network to join other networks. So try getting them to turn off their firewall, or you turn off yours, vice versa on that side of things. Normally you'll notice if something's going to work on Minecraft for connecting, when someone tries to join the server, if they get a message saying connecting server, it normally fails. It's not going to work. It normally works when it starts to say logging in, then you know it's actually working straight away. Okay, let's just say if you've accidentally opened craftbukkit.jar, or if you didn't close the server correctly and you can't get it to reopen. This is how you close it or kill it, if you want to say, to actually get it open again afterwards. So I've just double clicked on craftbukkit.jar, so it's actually bind to the port. Now normally you'll notice if I go and start .command, now what it'll do is in the messages here it will say ***** failed to bind port. That basically means the server is running, but it's running wrongly. So what you have to do to kill it is on your Mac, go to your utilities folder or search for activity monitor. Now when you open activity monitor you want to look for Java. So for instance Java is here. It actually uses a lot of CPU, so you can't really miss it, and what you want to do is just quit the process, and normally there's two of them, so there is another one there. I'll just quit that one as well, and right, that's that quit. So now if I just close that old window and go through start.command again, and there we go, now it's working. So if you click on the wrong thing or close the server wrongly, that's how you kill Java to restart it.
The same procedure goes if, for instance, your terminal turns around and says perhaps the server is already running on these ports. Do the same again with Java. Go to your dist utility, find Java, quit it, and then restart your server again.
One of the most common questions that I got was port maps said people's routers were incompatible. There's two ways to solve this. Either you can physically go up to your router, restart it, there should be a restart button on the back, or unplug it, and when you plug it back in, while it's actually running up, just keep pressing refresh and it might suddenly appear that you'll get an IP. It does work, it actually works for pretty much every router, it's just the software plays up for some reason. The other way you can do it is if you have access to your router settings, then there should be an option to restart your router. So I'm going to demonstrate here. I can go restart my router. Okay, I'm going to restart, and then while it's doing that, I'm going to keep refreshing this. So just keep on refreshing it, let it search. For example, it is actually working right now. You do sometimes get this message where it says just no external address, but actually that button's gone green, so it is working. You just have to go to a third-party website to find your IP address.
Right, now one very common question that I used to get was that whenever they dragged and dropped their start.command into terminal, it used to come up with a message saying could not be executed because you do not have appropriate access privileges to this file or to this document. Now, it's because I made it on my computer, so it thinks it's looking for me, effectively. What you need to do is you need to save it on your computer again, and what I mean by that is whichever file you've chosen, so I'm just going to use the 2 gig for example in here. I'm going to open the folder up. Now you'll have these two files, again the readme file, so you should have dragged and dropped the code into terminal to have that ready, and then this would just be ready to get dropped into it. But what you need to do first of all, if you are getting that message that I stated earlier on, right click the start.command, go open with, and tell it to open with text edit. Now every Mac should have text edit no matter what, okay? So tell it to open with that. It'll bring up the window. Now there's two things you've got to check for it. Okay, now if you go up to the top left hand corner where it says text edit, you'll see the word format. Now it'll either say make rich text, or if I click that again, it'll say make plain text. Now what you need to have it set as is make plain text. So what I mean in this situation is if it's saying it on your screen, click it, so it actually turns it into proper plain text for you. So now it actually says make rich text, but we don't want that. Okay. Second thing you want to do is actually then go ahead and save it. Now in this case it might say save a version, or if you possibly can tell it to make a new version. So in this case I'm going to just say save a version. Now that would have put it back into the original place. Now it's renamed it as start.txt, so I need to just rename it again, so it says start.command, and then that's it. It'll say, are you sure you want to change from .txt to .command, so use .command, and then that should be it. Then go ahead, drag and drop it, and it should work. If it doesn't work 100% like that, when you're back at this file, when you go to save it, try telling it to duplicate and then save it. Okay, it might just be a bit of it's a Mac thing. I don't understand the saver version so much, and it's a bit of a pain really. But certainly give that a go, then drag and drop it, and then that should be you ready to go. Now I hope this video has helped you, but certainly if you do still have any problems, I would happily help you. Now the best way, instead of going through YouTube, it does take me a long time to check the messages and get back to you, so please tweet me. My Twitter account will be down below. Just send me a tweet on that and I will try and get back to you as soon as possible, because I'm always carrying my phone on me. So please thumbs up this video if it's helped you, favourite it just in case for the future, and please subscribe and you'll get more videos like this in the future.